Professor Shrikant Kondapalli, Professor Barbara Harris, friends and colleagues. On behalf of the School of International Studies at Jawaharlal Nehru University, I'm deeply honored and indeed delighted to be able to welcome you all to this extremely interesting program, Juxtapose. I think the creativity of this very multidisciplinary program comes out in the title itself, which is quite unusual amongst in academic discourse. Also the theme of challenges on comparative work and research and methodologies between China and India is again very new, very interesting, and I think deeply challenging for various reasons. One of which is because of the nationalism and the antagonism between India and China. The research, the academic research within these countries has been covered with a kind of hegemonic nationalist lens. There are, of course, exceptions, some of which are in my university, but nonetheless, it is not easy for young scholars to break through this kind of nationalistic paradigm to look either at macro or micro issues, both in India and China. So I hope the scholarship which this seminar is encouraging is able to do this. Secondly, there is a tendency, and I think that is a second major challenge, is a fact of a large amount of focus on discourse analysis. As opposed, earlier there was a lot of focus on structure, and now there's a lot of focus on discourse analysis, at least what I see a lot in our university and in academia around. I think there is value to this, as long as it also examines the linkages to policy and power. Where does power emanate from? How does it get translated into policy? What impact does it have on institutions, on individuals, on intercommunity relations? I think that is one aspect in which both Indian and Chinese scholarship has been somewhat lacking. I think the third challenge, similarly, is there in the analysis of China outside the Asian context, where there too, while there is a belief of objective scientific research, that also very often has its own lenses. I'm not saying that this is true of all research. There are amazing exceptions, which I have had the opportunity to read. But I think young scholars need to cut through these various issues and also look at sources of counterpower. And I can see in the program that many of the papers are looking at it. And I was particularly glad that they're looking at the issue of minorities. Because despite this whole discourse that, India is democratic and open, if you actually look at minutely at policies, you would see a lot of similarity in how some minorities are dealt with, or for example, let's say in international politics on the issue of development assistance, the opposition to conditionalities, the whole concept of sovereignty, the sacrality of territory. These are great commonalities between the two, despite the overarching view that these are two amazingly different systems. So I hope these connections can be made. Right now, there is great interest in this because of the whole emerging powers idea and the BRICS Bank and the play for hegemony in Asia, the whole idea that both are talking about a multipolar world, but do they want one? I think China wants, and so does India. They would like a bipolar world in Asia and a multipolar world internationally. So there are these similarities which exist. And in the current kind of domain where President Xi Jinping spoke of the Chinese dream of 2 centuries, doubling the per capita income and making China into a moderately prosperous state. And this really clashes with some of the realist theories like of Mershimer, etc., who argue that China's rise cannot be peaceful. Whereas the contradictions within China show that it has to be a peaceful rise, otherwise it will collapse internally. So I think these are some of the issues which come up. I think you have 2 days, and then I saw there are lots of cultural events. I wish all of you the very best. And I hand the floor back to Professor Shrikant. Thank you very much.